here is a silver bomb, and I'm going to practice here. Here is my goop, and I'm going to take this, well, maybe this one, and I'm going to dip it into the masking stuff, and I'm going to put some on in the hopes that it will make some interesting chips. I don't know if it will, because I have to learn how to take some of it off and how much. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't know how else I should do it. This is in preparation for doing the wing root here. So anyway, I'll let that dry. I'm going to paint this olive and then come back and pull that paint off and see if it actually did anything. I'm not convinced that it will, but we're going to go ahead and give it the old college try and see what happens. Okay. In the meantime, I'm starting to work on this cowling ring here, edging, and I have a circular cross-section file, so I'm trying to file these out a little bit and try to level them off. And I'll go around here. I leveled this part off, and that top scoop part, that seemed to look pretty good. It's still going to take filler, but I'm going to go around here the whole way, hit it with some files, some flat files, and see if that's at least a start to try and get it, to try and get it started. So some of this looks like it's pretty flat anyway. You can see how where the file is hitting. And it's not hitting on both ends, it's only hitting on the front piece, which means, you know, since it stops here and doesn't go over to here, it means this is higher, which of course, you know that. You're not idiots. But I'm going to go through and do this all the way around first as a first step. And then I'll start worrying about putting actual putty in here and hopefully getting it so that it's nice and smooth and seam free. So here it is after a lot of sanding with different grit sandpaper. And I just got to keep doing this and it'll slowly get better. What I do after this is spray it white again to try to see where the seam is sitting. And after I do that a few times, you can see there's still seams, but they're starting to get better. And I don't need to have it disappear entirely. That needs to go a little bit better on that side, but I just need it to look a lot better than it did. So I'm not too upset at this point. You know, I just need to do a little more. And what I ended up doing, I tried to not use any putty, and I just kept sanding and sanding. Now, as a break, what I decided to do was I took this bomb and I sprayed it silver, and then I hit it with the mascol, and lo and behold, and then I sprayed it olive drab kind of, and now I'm taking off the mascol with the a little bit of blue tack, a little sticky putty, and actually works really well. I probably did a little too much, but it comes right off with that blue tack, and you're left with chips that look very natural because they look very, they look extremely random. And so this is a good test to see how the wing roots are going to look. And so I'm kind of practicing on the bomb, but I like the way the bomb looks because now it looks, the front end is like that. See, look at all those little chips come off, and it looks like something, when it looks like chip paint, because it is chip paint. It's really kind of cool. The hard part to me is using the stupid sponge to get the actual material on in the first place. But look at all the little chips of green that come off in the what amounts to a clay bar like you do with a car. And these are, again, probably a little ham-handed, but they do look like chip paint. And since it's a bomb on the bottom of this thing, I'm going to leave it as is. It's going to look pretty good. And then I just kind of refine the tail fins a little bit. And this will still get weathered. We'll still put some streaks on it. We'll do all kinds of things with oils and things later. But right now, I have to say, I like this. Now, if I can make the wing roots look kind of like that and have that yellow-green zinc chromate show through, I will be very, very pleased. We'll see how it goes because this is all an experiment, and we'll see how it looks in the end and if it was worth doing and if I did a good job. So not a bad test. Well, after a lot of sanding and more sanding and doing lots of changing grits and all that, I haven't used any putty on that thing yet. But after doing that multiple times, I think I'm getting rid of the line pretty good. I am going to give it one more shot of white. I'm not using primer because the primer shoots out so fast and deadly. I'm just using white acrylic paint, and I don't know if that's a good idea or not. That's what I'm doing. And I'm really just trying to get the color right because I want to make sure that I end up with a good base for when we start doing the rest of this stuff. So let's see here. This side looks pretty good. Let's do this because this is the part I care about. Do I get rid of that? Am I getting rid of this line here? So a little bit of a line is okay. It's just got to be much less than it was. And I think we might have it. I think we might have it. I was trying an experiment of just doing this without any kind of, or very little putty. I wanted to see if we could make this work without any putty. Good enough once that dries that we're going to call that quits. I think, any little bit that's there is going to be okay, especially when we put color on top of it. White shows every little problem. It's so much better than it was. And actually, in the real airplane, there might be a slight, it's just not a huge seam there. But I think we're pretty good. I might take a little bit of, right here you can't see it, but there's, with this lens, I don't think, but there's a little piece on here where there's like almost I have to sand it on that scoop to make it look a little bit better. But overall, not too bad at all. So What we are going to do while we're out here, though, is start doing some of the other painting while we're here. And so what I've decided to do is get some of the red painted, because I think I should have red on the back side of a couple of these in those flaps in there. I do think I need that. So I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to mix and spray the green that I want to put on the wing roots. And I'm going to hope that that is, turns out nice. And then we can try putting that mascall on there. And based on how it worked on the bomb, I think we got a good chance to have it work really well. So I'm going to paint a couple of spots here red, and they go with the flaps. We already painted the flaps, but these are on the inside. I'm just thinking that where the flaps get attached, and I'm wondering if they need to be colored too, because when they open, there's going to be a little bit of obvious color. Or where color should be. I don't know if it's supposed to be, an interior color in that particular part, or if it is supposed to be red, but I'm going to err on the side of red, just because I think it would look better if it was red. And so that's what I'm going to do. And these are these pieces right here. I'm going to spray red there, and then I'll mask these off when it comes time. And then I'm going to spray these pieces red, just to make sure that everything is colored. Again, I'm not sure if these are supposed to be red, but I'm going to paint these parts here red, thinking that when the flaps are deployed, you want to be able to see red so that it's not obvious that it's a different color. So we'll do this last part here. Okay, and we will, so that when they're open, those will also look red, I'm hoping. I'm not sure if that is real, but I think that might look a little better in my opinion. And that cowling, yeah, that looks pretty good. I mean, we could do more work on it, but it's so much better than it was. And a tiny, tiny, tiny hairline seam is okay. I can live with that. I just didn't want the huge trench that was there. So it looks much better. And even in the gun troughs, I'm looking at basically no problems in the gun troughs. So that's great news. It's wonderful news. So now, while we got the airbrush out and we're kind of in the realm of sort of cleaning and moving along, we're going to mix us up a little bit of interior green, or zinc chromate, I guess. Going to have it have a fair amount of yellow in it, because, let me move this before I spill something on it, because I want to have a nice contrast on that wing root. And again, I think it'll look really cool. It'll be, at least it'll look interesting. Whether it's, I mean, it's going to follow photographs, like I said, that I see. So I'm not making it up by any means. At the same time, it's not. At the same time, I don't think I'm absolutely. I don't think it's absolutely. It's not going to look exactly like the picture, but we're going to try to make it look close as we can, and I think we can do pretty well. I think it'll look awesome, and I do like what that mask all worked. I think that works pretty dang well. So what we're going to do now, we better clean that. I wasn't going to bother, but since I'm painting this yellow and green, I'm a little worried that that is really gonna, if there's any red left over, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna mix a color I don't want. So we better clean this while we're at it. Get rid of it. Clean the little, see, it's a little bit of red tip on there, so I'm thinking that needs to be cleaned off. There we go. Now we will add some yellow in here, and then we will add some green, and we'll go for what we hope is a good color that will be nice and contrasty when it comes to. It'll look really awesome actually against the blue-gray of the top. It'll look really cool. I'm gonna put maybe a couple of little areas someplace else on the wing. I'm gonna concentrate on the wing roots because that's where you really see it in the picture. But I might put a couple places somewhere else just to give some interest. We'll see. We'll see. So, yeller, old yeller. If I can open this Tinkerbell, let's stir it up. Always stir your paints before you use them. And we're going to add some green to that. Which green should we use? How about deep green? Let's try deep green. Ooh, what's this? This is just, here's deep green that I don't think has been bastardized. I think some of my deep green has been altered because of, I've actually gone in and used it and made other colors with it. So let's try these two together and see if we can't make a color that we collectively think is a nice kind of a nice zinc color. So we are going to add some yellow, and then we're going to add a smidgen of green, and we're going to mix. That is actually, I think, too green. I think we need more yellow. Thinking we need more yellow. That's more like it. It's almost like a, yeah, I like that color better. I think that'll be a nice color for the wing root and that's a pretty good color. Yeah, I like that color. Okay, so let's spray these here. This is kind of where it looks. That color. Based on what I've seen, I'll put a little bit someplace else just to give it some interest. Okay, we may as well, we're here, it's a nice color. Let's spray our canopy. The canopy basically has to be sprayed. So this will be our interior color. Our interior color, so that things will look realistic when we paint it with our blue. So the interior of the frame will have an interior color on them. I guess the alternative is to mask the interior and actually paint it. I've never done that before. I want to think our using our paint or our glue, our white glue on the canopy and edges is going to work out okay. It's going to be fine. Yeah, that's good enough. That is a great, I love that color. Do you want to put this green anywhere else? No, let's just leave it as is. Let's just leave it. Because that's kind of where I saw the color change on the real thing. So, leave that alone. Alright, so that's what we've done. What we're going to do is add, once this dries, add some Mascol here and put your fingerprint in it. And then we will, gosh, at that point it's time to start adding color. I'll mask these off and I'll decide how I'm going to do those bomb flaps, the dive flaps. I was going to put them in so that they'd get the same color as everything else. I don't know if that's going to work, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do. And we will go from there. So here we are trying to now put this onto the wing root. So I got a little puddle of that stuff, and I got an old piece of sponge. I'm not sold on using the sponge. It's hard to get a piece that actually looks random enough. Maybe because I'm just not doing it right. I don't know. It's just that, or I'm using pieces that are too big. I don't know. It doesn't seem as random as I thought it would look. But in any event, what I'm trying to do right now is find a good piece. And when I find one, dip it in that masking and then start tapping at the wing root in strategic places. Now, in this case, I kind of take excess off. Great shot of my hand. But when you put this down, you leave it leaves little bits, and that's great. And they're kind of random, but at the same time, if you keep hitting the same piece, use the same piece of sponge, they're very regular, and they don't have different shapes. I mean, maybe it look better once I actually pull it off and it's all painted. Worst comes happen, I just adjust it and make the wing root clean again when I'm all finished. But I don't think this one worked as well as the bomb. Maybe it's just because the bomb was easier to do. I can't tell. But all I'm doing here is continuing with that process, and I hit little bits and pieces on the green parts, and I'm trying to, again, make it kind of random. And if I go over into the white, because that would be a bummer, because then you get white showing through when you pull it off, I go back with or I don't show this, but I go back with my blue tack and take the parts that actually stuck to the white, get rid of those, so those aren't going to be an issue. I'm hoping that these will just add a little interest to a few places, and as we weather it, maybe they'll be just fine. I'm just not convinced that my wing roots look like they should. Partially it's because like that, whoa, that's way too much. But we're going to leave it and see how it looks. The fact that they're different, that's okay. That could reflect, just the nature of the beast. But I have a feeling like it's supposed to be more up near the top of the highest part of the airfoil up in front there, and then taper off. And right now it just kind of doesn't look random enough. It looks kind of regular. So I'm trying to concentrate on the front part, which is what I saw in some of the pictures, and still getting a few little bits on the back side. But so I tried using different sizes of sponge. I tried using a tweezer with the sponge for control. I ended up using doing it by hand. It seems to be easier. But and then I added a few that were on the cowling, and those I don't know if I'll even remember they're there at the end. We'll see. And there's not many of them. But overall, that's what it would look like. Now back here, I sprayed those parts black because I'm going to cut out a number, put it on there. Those will remain black so that when I paint the rest of it, those will be numbers just like I saw on some of those cool pictures.